puppet craft. Woo! Welcome everyone. I'm Christina with Wonder Spark Puppets. It's 4 o'clock, so it's time to get started with our DIY puppet craft. For today, we are here every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. So let's get started. It is Fairy Tale Week, so all week we've been doing fairy tale themed crafts leading up to our puppet show this morning. I hope you caught it. It's wonderful as always. And if you didn't, that'll be up for a full week until next week when we do our next show. All right, let's get started. Today, for Fairy Tale Week, I made this really fun flying witch. So often in fairy tales, the bad guy is a wicked witch, right? Now, sometimes I think they get a bad rap. Sometimes witches are cool. So your witch doesn't have to be a wicked witch. It could be a nice witch if you want. But nevertheless, that's what we're making today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go over our supply list quickly. Alrighty. First, if you have them, just a set of chopsticks. I'm going to break mine apart right now. There we go. If you have them, and if not, just 2 pencils will work just fine. Or, you know, if you have a dowel lying around, or if you want to go out and find some twigs, whatever you have that's basically long and skinny like this. We'll need construction paper. The main color that we're going to need is black for the witch's outfit. And then you'll need one other color for the face and the hand. I made a very, very pale witch because I don't think she gets out in the sun too much, this one. So I just used printer paper. You can use whatever color you want for your face and hand. And actually for this one, I thought it would be really fun. Since this is a puppet, why not go crazy? And I'm going to use this bright green for my witch's face and hand this time. So I'm going to have some fun. We'll need some yarn. Yellow if you have it, so that we can make the nice little bristles of the broomstick. But if not, you can use whatever color yarn or string that you have. We'll need scissors, a glue stick, some white glue, some tape, just a little bit, and a hole punch, and a pipe cleaner. So the hole punch and pipe cleaner is really so that we can add these fun little dangling legs here, but it's not necessary. If you want to skip that step, that's okay too, but I like these little dangling legs. So let's go ahead and get started with this. The first thing I want to work on doing is making our witch's broom. So I'm going to set aside my paper for now, and I'm going to take one of my chopsticks. I'm going to set the other one aside for now. And I'm going to take a really long piece of yarn. Nice and long. And I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a couple of times. Now, my hand is a pretty big hand, so you might want to get a helper for this so that your string is going to end up a little bit longer. But you can use your own hand as well. You're just going to wrap the yarn around and around and around. Does not have to be too tight, not at all. I'm even going to get a little bit extra yarn around, just so we have some nice bristles for our broom. All right, I think that's probably enough. Okay, and again, this might be where a helper is good. I'm going to hold the yarn in place with my thumb. I'm going to put my scissors through the yarn right here where it's all looped around, and I'm going to cut. Okay? And now I'm going to take half of that, bend it over again, so you can see how all the pieces make this loop. I put my scissors through there and cut one more time. So now I have a nice little group of yarn that's all about the same length. Okay. I'm going to set that on my table and make sure you can see this. Just set it on my table kind of like this. And we want to keep them all in line with each other if we can. Okay, now we're going to take one more piece of yarn. Okay. I'm going to lay this piece of yarn long ways, or horizontal. And I'm going to lay my little bristles, my little strips here on top. Can you see that? So I have my long string underneath, and I've got all my other shorter strings facing the same way on top of that string. Now I take my chopstick. I'm going to take the bigger end here, and I'm going to lay that right in the middle of that group. Okay? So now I'm going to take the long string and bring the two ends together, and I'm going to tie a knot. This is going to hold all of those little pieces of yarn into place. And I'm going to pull real tight. There we go. And I'm going to tie it one more time so that it's really secure. Pull nice and tight. There we go. There is our witch's broom. Very cool. If you want to cut all of the extra, you can, but I'm going to trim it right out here so I have a couple of extra little bristles for my broom. Okay. Very cool. All right, so now we have our transportation for our witch. Transportation is how you get around, get from place to place. Now we can work on the actual witch herself, or himself. I'm going to take my black paper and I'm going to fold it hamburger style, so the wide way, not the longer skinny way, the wider way. And I'm going to fold it in half. And this might be a little bit difficult to see, but I'll show you what I'm going to do first. So I folded it in half, and just from this point here, I'm just going to draw a big diagonal line. It's going to make kind of a big triangle shape. So let's see. I don't think I have a marker, but I don't think I have a white crayon close at hand, but I'm going to use my black marker. I think you'll be able to see it. All right. If you want to use a ruler or something to make it really straight, you can, but I just free-handed it. There we go. So yeah, my line is not perfect, but it basically goes from the corner out here, and we're making a big triangle. Okay, make sure we include that folded side as well. So now I'm just going to cut right along that line. And this is the body of our witch. All right? And don't throw away the rest of your paper. We're going to use some of that a little bit later. All right. Now, if you wanted to, at the end, if you want to add those legs, you're going to want to poke a little hole, kind of at the bottom, basically kind of towards the middle. Right about there. All right. Before we continue, I'm going to take another long piece of yarn. It's probably too much. That's about 2 feet, but we can always trim it later. And on one end, I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going around twice so that it's a good sized knot. And at the close to the top of my puppet, the top point here where it comes apart, I'm going to tape this yarn on the inside so that when it folds up, you won't really see it inside there. But this is a very important string. So I'm going to come down a little bit further, and I'm going to tape right above the knot so that even if the string pulls, the knot is going to hold it in place. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's get our piece of tape. Okay. All right. So I'm holding my string in place, and I'm going to put that piece of tape right above where the knot is. There we go. So the knot will hold it more securely in place. Okay. I think that's about as technical as we're going to get today. And that wasn't too bad. So now we can work on making our witch look like a witch. We're going to make the face and the hand and her little sleeve, all kinds of fun stuff. So I am going to take my green paper because I've decided I'm making a green witch today. I'm going to take my glue stick and my marker and I'm going to trace this top circle. And that is going to be my face. I'm using a Sharpie, but as usual, be careful if you choose to use a Sharpie because that's a permanent marker. Any marker or pencil will do for this. We're going to cut out that circle that we just made. Make a nice round face. Ta-da! And I'm going to glue on the side where you can still see the marker. Kind of hides it a little bit better. Okay. So again, I'm going to glue towards the top point where it comes apart. Somewhere right about there. And I'm going to leave a little bit extra of the point because that's going to be the witch's hat. So I'll take my glue stick and glue that on. There we go. Something like that. All right, now what's next? Okay, now let's make some accessories. I'm going to go back to my extra black paper and I'm just going to cut a little rectangle. I'll draw it out for you so you can see about what I'm going to do. Kind of a long, skinny rectangle. Can you see that? Yeah. This is going to be the brim of the hat. So we cut that out. And we can glue it right there, right straight across. Or if you want to make it a little crooked, that's fine too. I'm just going to go straight across. Right above the head. And that's our little witchy hat. I wonder why they wear those hats. Somebody will have to look it up and tell me. Okay. There we go. Now, you know what? I'm going to wait a little bit to make the arm. I'm going to wait until we get our string in place. So I think I am going to be done with the decorating for now. Oh, I'm going to draw the face. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make my witch a happy witch. She's happy to be flying around. Give her some nice big eyes, a little pointy nose, a little smile, and some eyebrows. Okay. Pretty simple. However you want to make the face is fine. I just did 2 dots, a little point for the nose, a little smile, and some little eyebrows. Great. Now is where we're going to start to think about how we're assembling the actual puppet. So we're going to come back to our cute little broom that we've made, and we're going to open up the triangle of the witch's body, and we're going to put the broom right inside, down towards the fold. See that? And then this is where the white glue comes in because it's a little bit harder to make this stick. We're going to glue both of these sides together. Especially here at the point, you want to make sure you get some glue so that we hold that string up here in place, that yarn. So this is why I wanted to use some white glue. Here we go. I'm going to go all the way around the outside edges, making sure to get that top point, and I'll just put a little bit around the middle and spread it a little bit. All right. So now I think you can see I'm going to fold the paper right over top of itself, and I'm going to push down. Okay, I'm going to hold it down for, let's do 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I think that should be good. Got some of my glue spilled out. There we go. Coming right along. Great. Now, this is going to be one of our control strings that we put in the top of the head. Now we're going to work on making the other control strings. We're going to take Another nice long piece, probably a little more than 2 feet. And I'm going to take another one about the same length. Again, this is probably too long, but we can always trim it later. It's a little bit easier to work with if you make it too long rather than too short. So I'm going to take my first string and I'm going to tie it right around this other yarn where we tied on the bristles. So I can use that as a guide. I'm going to take the end of this string and tie it right around where I tied that other yarn. Same thing, I'm going to pull it real tight and I'm going to tie one more knot the exact same way. Pull it real tight. And I'm going to trim the extra. Okay. All right, so now we've got 2 of our control strings. We just need one more here at the front end. Taking my last piece of string right around here, close to the end, and just tying it on. You want these to be nice and tight so that they stay in place. If you find that your strings are sliding off your pencil or your chopstick, you can always put a little bit of tape or glue to hold it into place. Okie dokie. Trimming the extra. All right. Here we go. I've got all 3 of my control strings. Now is where the other chopstick comes into play. We're going to tie all of these strings to the chopstick so that instead of having to hold each of these strings, I can just hold the chopstick and I can control my puppet. I'm going to lay my puppet on the table flat and I'm going to pull all of the strings straight up. I'm going to lay my chopstick right across, say about that much. You don't want it to be too close to your puppet's head, but you don't need it to be too long either. So I'm going to split the difference and say right there. So here I take this end and make a knot. And you want to try and make these as even as possible. So if you need a helper for this, you can ask. Again, pulling the yarn nice and tight. Okay, so there's one. Now, this is about the length that I want my other string to be. Pulling nice and tight. Okay. There we go. And now we have one more string to attach. Almost done. Okay. Here we go. It is nice and warm today. Wish I had my window open, but it gets kind of noisy out there, so I've got to close right now. Okay, here we go. So this one is a little bit shorter, so you can see my puppet's tilting up a little bit. If you want, you can adjust that, but I think I'm going to just leave it for now. I'm going to trim the extra strings so that they're not in the way. Where's that end? There it is. Okie dokie. Okay. So there we go. So we can just hold on, slide that a little bit out. We can just hold on to our chopstick and our whole puppet will move. So let's give it a little test run. And so by moving the stick a little bit, angling up and down, our other chopstick will also angle up and down. Cool. So the last thing we're going to do is just add a couple little details. We're going to make our little hand. And here I'm just going to take one of these edges that's already a triangle and just kind of cut another triangle. This is going to be the sleeve of my puppet. So I'm going to glue it something like that. I might make it a little bit narrower, so it's not quite such a long sleeve. But that's the idea, yeah. There we go. So I'm just going to glue that on real quick with my glue stick. Ta-da! We'll make a little hand, then we'll make our little legs, and our witchy friend will be ready to fly around. I'm going to grab my green paper one more time. And if you want to trace something that's a circle shape, you can do that, kind of a small circle, but I'm just going to just cut something out real quick, just for time. It's not a perfect circle, but you get the idea. And I'm going to glue that on as well. I'm going to glue it from the back, so that we just have a little bit of that circle poking out through the sleeve. Nice. So for the legs, what I did, I took a pipe cleaner, and I only really needed half of it, so I just folded it right in half, and I just cut it. But I have my half pipe cleaner from earlier, so mine is already pre-cut into half. So all I have to do is loop it right through that hole that we made. Oh, there we go. The hole that we made with the hole punch. And I'm going to fold in half. I'm going to bend some little feet forward. Let's see. It's going to be hard to show you. I'll put it here on the table. We'll bend some little feet forward. And I'm going to bend some little knees also. There we go. I think it's cute because then the little legs kind of swing around as your puppet is flying. Yeah, see when they get this nice little dangly movement. You get some nice little dangly movement from the broom as well. So I think this is a really cute little witch puppet. All right, so there we go. It's another little character for your fairy puppet collection. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And just a reminder, we are Wonder Spark Puppets. Oh, quick shout out. There's a blog where I got the idea for this. It's called krokotak.com, K-R-O-K-O-T-A-K. I think we've used them before, but kind of got the inspiration from that and then turned it into a beautiful puppet. So thanks to them. And here's my brand new sign. WondersparkPuppets.com. Check us out. We have the DIY crafts every day, 4 o'clock on weekdays, 10 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And every Friday at 11, we have a free live streamed puppet show just for you and your family. You can also enter a raffle on our website to enter to win a private live streamed puppet show. So definitely check that out. We have merch, we have memberships available, and we also have puppet telegrams or live puppet chats. Lots and lots of really fun stuff. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you back again tomorrow at 10 for more of Fairy Tale Week. Bye, everyone.